Hello, welcome back to our Books of the Bible study. We're looking at the book of Joshua. And something that someone pointed out to me that was a great observation is this word rest. It keeps popping up as they read the book of Joshua. And the question is this rest mentioned in Joshua the same idea as the Sabbath rest? Is that the rest that they're talking about? And an easy answer, no. No, it's not. It's a different word in the Hebrew that's being used. But I got to be honest with you, it's indirectly a great observation because the word Sabbath has everything to do with the book of Joshua. And let me explain real quick. As we look at the word Sabbath, the idea of Sabbath, I mean, it's presented as part of the Ten Commandments. You know, to keep the Sabbath day, right? Keep it holy. You know, this idea of observing the Sabbath is very important to the Jewish people. And we Christians, we don't always know what to do with it. Is it time to rest? Does it mean I don't go shopping on Sundays? What do I do with it? All right, let me explain this real quick, real light, okay? I'm not going to go real deep, but you have to keep in mind where the idea of Sabbath comes from. It comes from the creation account in Genesis chapters 1 and 2. We have this 7-day account of creation, which we know is trying to communicate to us something unique about our world. Because in the ancient world, temples to gods were built in 7 days. And on the 7th day, the god would come and rest in the temple. Now, when that god came and rested in the temple, it didn't mean that they just came and it was a leisurely spot for him to just take some time off. It meant that their office is ready now, and they can come take up residence. They can come dwell there and get to work. Now, this is the same imagery that's being used in Genesis 1 and 2 when it's talking about the building of a great cosmic temple that is our world. That this is God's home. This is his place of residence. And in fact, on the 7th day, we're being told that he is coming, that basically he comes here and he gets to work. That he is ready and he's working now. He has plans, he has purposes, and he's putting them into place. That this world is going somewhere, that history is going somewhere, and it's all in accordance with this God, of whom this entire world is his temple. That's what Genesis 1 and 2 wants to make sure that you understand. And so by observing the Sabbath, you're not just mimicking what God is doing or imitating what God is doing, you're participating in it. You're participating in the Sabbath. You're participating in God's plans and his purposes. You are saying, I recognize God has a plan for this world, and I want to make sure I'm a part of it. I want to make sure and align my life with the work of God. You know, we see Israel twice being told to observe the Sabbath during those times when the Ten Commandments are given, both in Deuteronomy and in Exodus. And where Deuteronomy basically is telling them all about those Ten Commandments again, keeping the Sabbath just before they go into the promised land to take it. The Sabbath has everything to do with the book of Joshua, because the book of Joshua is everything to do with what God has been doing all along. That presence of God, we know very quickly, was separated from humanity in this world, and very quickly by sin. But through the calling of Abraham and Sarah, and the family line created by them, God said, I'm going to do something different in this world, that my presence is going to return and be close with humanity once again. And he promised Abraham and Sarah's family a land that they could call their own, and in that place they would live in harmony with God. At least they would have the opportunity to do so. And it was a place that they could call their own so that they could radiate to the world an example of what it means to live in harmony with this God and live out his plans and purposes for your life. And that's what's going on in Joshua. They're taking this land. You know, for us as Christians, we can look at this and we see Israel playing out as instruments, as God's people, as his partners in making the Sabbath come true. You know, they're participating in God ordering his kingdom here in this world. And as Christians, we have to take that to heart, because just as Israel was, we're the spiritual descendants of Israel. We are God's people. We are his instruments. We too are God's partners. And we are a part of God ordering his kingdom in our world. We pray, your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Do we mean that? That's what the Sabbath is all about, is making sure that God's kingdom is coming and his will is being done. We are God's partners. And the Sabbath is all about looking at our lives and saying, does my life line up with what God is doing? Is my will aligned with God's? Am I a part of what he's doing, these plans and purposes? The purpose for this world and history, am I a part of it? Or am I just a bystander? Do I show up at church, maybe throw a few bucks in a plate every once in a while? And call it good? Or am I part of what God is doing? Sunday is a great time for us to ask that question. In fact, that's why we ask you guys on Sunday to participate, to be involved in the ministries. Because Sunday isn't just about us remembering a day that God took it easy. It's a day that we participate with what God is doing and making sure our lives align with God's will and what he's doing in this world. So Joshua has everything to do with the Sabbath. Everything to do with a place that Israel's people could be a part of his plans and purposes, that they could align themselves with his will. So it's a great observation about Joshua. No, the rest that we read about, those particular words don't reflect the Sabbath specifically in the Hebrew, but the entire book of Joshua reflects the idea of the Sabbath, of participating in what God is doing and being a part of his plan, his will, and his kingdom in this world. So my hope is that as you read this book of Joshua, may it inspire you to ask the same questions of yourselves. Are you a part of what God is doing? Are you recognizing his will in your life? And are you ordering your life to align with his will and his plans for history? I hope that this has been a blessing to you, and I look forward to answering more questions and talking more about the book of Joshua with you later. Have a blessed day.